I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon on January 9th, 2025, and by posting the notice in the Forked River and Lenoka Harbor post offices, and by filing a copy of the notice with the Lacey Township Clerk as requested by the Open Public Meeting Act. Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato, absent. Mr. Bell, absent. Mrs. Armato?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Here.
Mr. Conity?
Here.
Mrs. Claus?
Here.
Okay, we're going to go into executive session. Be it resolved in executive session be convened for the purpose of discussing confidential student matters, including but not limited to harassment, intimidation, and bullying, confidential legal matters, including but not limited to the current caseload, and confidential personnel matters. The subject matters of these discussions will be disclosed to the public when the reason for confidentiality subsides. The length of the executive session is estimated to be approximately 60 minutes, after which the board shall reconvene and proceed with business at 7 p.m. Action may be taken. Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to begin with a few important reminders. We currently have an open position on the Board of Education to fill Mr. Peters' seat. The application process is open till Friday, November 7th. At our November board meeting, we will hold open interviews after the board will select a candidate in private session. The selected candidate will be officially announced at the November board meeting and will begin their duties following a successful background check. Please visit our website for instructions on how to apply. Also on our website, you'll find information about the upcoming referendum. Unlike last time, this referendum only includes one question focused on necessary roof and HVAC upgrades. The best part, there is no tax increase as we have debt coming off our books. If you have questions, please feel free to contact the board office or attend our final information center session, followed by a Q&A October 30th at 7 p.m. We welcome all questions. The vote will take place on Election Day, November 4th. Unfortunately, it has come to our attention that a small group of individuals actively opposing the referendum have taken to social media to post photos and make slanderous personal attacks against our acting superintendent, Mr. Zielinski. Let me be clear. While we fully support freedom of speech and the right to express differing opinions, we do not condone online bullying, harassment, or defamation of anyone. Mr. Zielinski, I'm truly sorry this is happening to you. It was not acceptable when they did it to our previous superintendent, and now it's you. I see a pattern here, so don't take it personal. Let's begin with the simple truth. Rudeness should never be normalized, and bullying, whether online or offline, is never acceptable. While we don't have to agree, no one should stoop so low to sling personal attacks, especially knowing that we cannot respond. To those engaging in this behavior, let's all call it what it is, bullying. I want to say this plainly. You don't gain power or respect by tearing other people down. You lose part of your integrity and damage your character in the process. To the parents, students, staff, and residents, continue to show what truly defines our town. Keep doing what we do best, lifting each other up, showing up when it matters, volunteering, and standing together to create real, lasting change. That is who we are. Remember that someone else's disrespect says far more about them than it ever will about us. Let's rise above the noise, stay focused on what matters and the reason why we are here, and keep building our communities that we could be proud of. Thank you. And now we're going to move on to our student representatives. Lisa.
All right, so SGA last met on October 6th. For freshman news, they just elected their new officers for the 2025-2026 school year. They're now planning their featured teacher, unsung hero, and possible duck in a bucket fundraiser, and they're planning for their trunk or treat. The sophomores are planning their featured teacher and unsung hero for December and May, and they officially set up a sophomore Instagram page. The juniors are preparing for their P.F. Chang's fundraiser, preparing for the fall Powder Puff game on November 25th on LTHS football field, $5 entry at 6 p.m. and they're brainstorming for their junior prom. Seniors completed this month's Future Teacher and Unsung Hero. They are thinking of possible fundraiser grams to elementary schools, and caps and gowns were sold last week in Cafeteria North to all seniors. For executive board news, they concluded their homecoming sales today, and the dance is on Saturday. We are planning for the Veterans Day ceremony that all officers will attend on November 11th, and we are beginning to plan the Battle of the Classes, and the next SGA meeting will take place on Monday, November 10th.
Thank you.
All right. And for the month of October, the Student Government Association is proud to announce that our unsung hero is Jonathan Graveman. So, Johnny, if you want to come down. All right, so the Matthew Blum Unsung Hero Award is awarded to a person who has exemplified unselfish acts within his or her community. For the month of October, our recipient of this award is someone who has always been an upstanding member of the LTHS student body. He has challenged himself with some of the most rigorous courses available in our school, and his academics have placed him a spot in our prestigious National Honor Society in our school. In Interact, he is a frequent volunteer in his community, dedicating his time to those in need, and he has also been a tremendous help as the manager of the boys volleyball team, dedicating his time towards creating an encouraging environment for all players. Aside from his incredible accomplishments, the most inspiring aspect of this student is his positive attitude. There is never a dull moment when you speak to this student. He is certain to always have a smile on his face during the day. For these reasons, SGA is proud to announce that our October Unsung Hero is Jonathan Graveman. Congratulations, Johnny, and keep up the great work.
Congratulations. Now we're going to move on to superintendent report.
Thanks, guys. That is awesome. Matt Blum truly was an unsung hero, so it really is awesome. Yeah. You didn't know him, but he was really, he really does exemplify this, and I see it in the people that you pick. So very nice job. Thank you. Very good. So now we'll bring up Principal King. We'll bring down another very long-standing tradition of ours to have Seniors of the Month. Probably about a quarter century now we've been doing this. Well, all my time, and Mr. Adamski did it before me, so we're going to hear about our two awesome seniors this month, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
two awesome seniors. Good evening, everyone. It is once again a great pleasure for me to stand before you and announce two of our amazing seniors. We have so many. This is just two I get to celebrate this month. Our first October Senior of the Month is Ava Flanagan. Ava, come on. Come on down. Round of applause for Ava's family who's up there in the back. So a round of applause for them being here tonight.
I'm Ava Flanagan, and I'm proud to be named October Student of the Month at Lacey Township High School.
Congratulations, Ava Flanagan, on being chosen as Lacey Township High School's October Student of the Month.
At Lacey Township High School, I am president of National Honor Society, and I also play for the women's varsity soccer and basketball teams.
For 4 years, I've watched Ava progress through her athletic ability and her work in the classroom. She's also a outstanding student with volunteer work and assisting other kids through clubs and other interests throughout the school. I watch how she interacts every day with her peers and other students in the school, and she's a fine example as a representative of Lacey Township High School.
Some of my favorite memories during high school include having classes with all of my best friends, being in the STEM Academy, and just hanging out with my friends in and out of school.
Ava's been a great athlete for the school, and I see her every morning, every afternoon at lunch, and I tease her every day about soccer, when whatever season she is, how many points is she going to score, how many rebounds, how many goals, whatever. She always has a smile on her face, and she's just a great kid, and like I said earlier, she's always has a positive attitude and interacts very well with all the other kids, friends, and other students alike.
Outside of school, I love to go to the beach, go out for coffee, and go out to dinner.
Again, congratulations, Ava. I wish you success the rest of the school year upon graduation, and I know you do well whichever path you choose in life. Good luck.
After high school, I plan to get my doctorate of pharmacy and hopefully attend a school up north or maybe even down south.
There you go.
Congratulations, Ava. Our next October Senior of the Month is Michael Austin. Michael, come on down. Yep. Round of applause to his family who's all here helping out.
Hi, I'm Michael Lawson, and I'm proud to be named October Senior of the Month at Lacey Township High School.
Congratulations, Mike Austin, on being named Senior of the Month.
I'm a member of SGA and National Honor Society. I'm the Vice President of Interact Club, and I'm a captain of the volleyball team.
Ever since you were a freshman, you came in the academy a little timid, but definitely confident in your academic ability. Look at you now. You're the type of person who's confident in every area that I've ever seen you actually encounter.
One of my favorite memories of high school is winning the Kim Cole Cup with the volleyball team.
I remember your junior year, working on public speaking, getting out of your comfort zone. You're the type of student who likes to thrive in those types of situations. It's going to carry you extremely far in your college career.
Outside of school, I like to hang out with my friends and family and play sports. I also like to volunteer for the Elks.
So congratulations, Mike Austin, on being named Senior of the Month. I'm extremely proud.
After I graduate, I plan on going to a college and studying quantitative finance.
All right, Mr. Zielinski, that is our Seniors of the Month.
Thank you, Principal.
All right.
All right, 2 items. The first one is we do a mid-year HIB grade report. We will post all this information up. The reason that we post HIB grades twice a year is that you can go look at them online, you can comment on them, you can call my office and discuss them with me. It is for your public consumption. It does describe how we get those HIB grades. They're self-assessed HIB grades. They're out of a score of 78 for each building. I report out on them twice a year, which I'm going to do right now. And then you can always find them on our site under harassment, intimidation, bullying. And you're free to go there and ask us questions. You know, how do we deal with harassment, intimidation, and bullying in our schools, especially in the middle school and the high school? And how do we arrive at those grades? If you ever have any questions, you call me. So it's out of a grade of 78. It's not a grade like out of a 0 to 100. It's just how they score them. Okay, so it's out of a grade of 78. The Mill Pond School was a 73. This is a self-assessment. Cedar Creek School is a 73. Fork and River School is a 73. Lenoka Harbor School is a 73. The middle school is 75. And the high school is 74. And we'll play ball in a minute. All right? It's okay. Take your time. I know, we're in the middle of some hot games. Like, there was a big blowout last night, but it was good. So those are our HIB grades. We'll post them up. So that's just an item of taking care of things. More importantly tonight, we're going to invite down our district supervisors. Michelle Amos and Margaret Malloy are going to come down, and they're going to do our yearly presentation. I'm going to give you like a little lead up. I wrote one. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I've been dabbling with a little AI to help me like put my thoughts together. All right, and I'll read it to you. So we know that test scores are a very serious subject. For years, we've heard the conversations and we've listened. Okay, we've done everything we can to tackle these tough assessments. These are state assessments and local assessments that we give. Okay, tonight you're going to see the strides that we've made, really tremendous strides. 24-25 school year was a good one for Lacey schools. We faced tough state standards. We outscored the state in 11 out of 14 areas. So we closed those gaps with the state scores in 11 out of 14 areas. Okay, and we consistently beat the state of New Jersey's rate of improvement. So all good things in there. Record rates you're going to see for our AP scores. Okay, we had 69% passing rate for AP, up from 54%. That is good by any high school, and I'm very proud of that. Okay, 23 College Academy graduates last year who left LTHS. They had their high school diploma and their college diploma at the same time. We always love to remind people of that. Okay, this stuff doesn't happen by accident, folks. Okay, it's a direct result of a smart, strategic way of that we're thinking. These two, very responsible for that. Margaret is our secondary district supervisor, and Michelle is our elementary district supervisor. Okay, this year's data really offers some clear proof that we're moving in the right direction. Okay, we're very proud of our students and teachers. We hope to see better results, more better results next year. I probably didn't say that right for an English teacher in the room. Okay, we're excited to see your PowerPoint. I don't know if the board wants to move and go the other way or just turn around. It's a little lengthy, but it's worth it because there's a lot of good in there. Areas of improvement you also highlight as well that we have to keep improving on. Thank you. All right, the floor is yours.
So it is a little lengthy. The state gives us some parameters on what we have to report on, and then we have some additional information that we thought was positive that we wanted to share as well. So we're going to start with the NWEA MAP growth assessment that's given to our students. Last year it was given in grades K through 8 in ELA, math, and last year was the first year that we administered it in science as well. It is given to about 9 million students across the world every year. It's administered 2 to 3 times, and it is normed. And their norms are redone every 5 years. So the scores that we're going to share with you today are the comparative in the 2025 normative data. So the blue bar is our fall scores in each grade level. The maroon is our spring, and the gray is the spring normative data. So you can see that consistently, this is ELA, our students are growing. It is standardized and it's adaptive. So it levels up or down, and it is a growth model, which we've been doing this, I think, since 2011, and the state is in the process of changing the state assessment, and it is also going to be an adaptive assessment. So I'm hoping, you know, our students having some experience with NWEA may benefit them for the upcoming state tests. This is our math data in grades K through 5. Consistent growth again, and consistently outperforming the, I guess, international normative data. And this is math in grades 6 through 8. You know, 8th grade, we're hanging right there with the normative data, but consistently growing. A little bit of a drop there in 7th grade math. This is ELA for grades 6, 7, and 8. Also just the same comparison. I won't linger, we've got a lot of slides to show you. With the science, we're a little bit closer to the norms, but I expect as we continue to administer this and get more familiar with reading science questions and answering the science questions using data and learning the steps that they have to learn, they're only going to continue to improve.
First year we did science?
Yes,
Yes.
First year we did science. We were looking to improve our state science scores, and we did, in fact, see some improvement there. Okay, so then we'll start to talk about the NJSLA. This first slide just shows the state, the percentage that met or exceeded expectations compared to the district. 5th grade being a highlight, we exceeded the state, and we're close in other areas. In upcoming slides, we're going to show you as well comparisons of the grade level to grade level and then cohort, and I'll explain a little further as we go. So 3rd grade, the state in 2024 compared to the state in 2025 saw an increase of 1.3%. We saw an increase of 7.9%. So we're growing at a rate faster than the state. We're not quite to the state percentile yet. We acknowledge across the board that 4th grade is an area that we're going to continue to work on. I'll talk to you a little bit about how we've handled intervention and the way that I believe we've been able to make gains. And we're going to really put a focus on 4th grade to try and increase those scores as well. 5th grade, huge gains, 13.5% growth, and we're exceeding the state there. So this is where we were talking about the cohort performance change. So our 3rd graders that took it in 2024, then in 2025 took it as 4th graders, we saw a lot of growth there in ELA, 15.3%, and we saw a 3% growth in our 4th graders moving to 5th grade in ELA. So we're making gains.
Right, because what's interesting about our 4th grade, they had our attention in 3rd grade.
They did.
So we're glad we saw big gains here. They're still not performing where we want in the state, but we've tracked that back to some other issues back in 2020, when we all know what happened then. So the 3rd grade now, our 4th grade has our full attention.
Yes.
Yes.
And the state also requires that if you in a grade level have 20 or more students that are identified as a subgroup, you have to report on them. So we're just reporting straight percentiles here of students that met or exceeded. In talking with my colleagues and with Mr. Zielinski, the only group that is significantly large that we were seeing grade increases in were the economically disadvantaged. It's hard with the other groups because if you're just meeting that threshold and you only have 20 students, a few students one way or another can significantly skew the data. So I don't have a comparison there from the year previous.
Can you give them a little context, like for the high school example, how many students are economically disadvantaged percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise at the high school, it's about 30, I believe.
Almost 30%. So
Yes.
that gives them some context. There's a lot of kids in that pool, and it has our attention because those kids don't get a lot of support at home. They might not have resources all the time. So we're glad we saw big gains there.
Overall, the district is at around 32%, and some of our schools are higher or lower. So then we'll talk about the math scores. We're hanging there with the state. We need to do a little bit better. Fifth grade, again, met the state average, didn't exceed it, but we're going to just continue to work and try to fill these gaps and have our students score higher each year. So here we again have the third, fourth, and fifth grade, the state changes versus the district changes. We're seeing growth. We're still looking in fourth grade to have that focus. We are looking into some interventions that we're going to provide professional development for the teachers, give them strategies for like our Tier 3 intervention where we have basic skills pull out and really try to hone in on the skills that are missing so that we can build and have our students be successful. Cohort performance change, a slight downturn in third grade, but not super significant, and we grew from fourth grade to fifth grade again. Same thing, reporting out on our subgroups. 504, if we didn't have 20 of them, you're going to see that NA in there. So there weren't that many grades that had 20 or more 504s to have it be a subgroup report.
Excuse me, Michelle, can you just explain briefly what a 504 is for the public, because they might not know what that is?
Sure, it's a federal document that allows us to provide, it's not an IEP. If there's a significant life impact from something that is affecting a student, it could be as simple as a broken arm during testing time. It could be ADHD, which is a classification. We work with the families to write a 504 plan that will address the student's needs and help them to be more successful in school and life.
Right, 504s are based on federal law. They're not controlled by the state. So we were mandated, and you do that through adults. Adults can have 504s as well because it's federal mandate.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk, our intervention, our primary intervention has been the New Jersey tiered system of support, and I give a lot of props to our building supervisors and teachers who have been working so hard with this system. We created plans, we looked at where 80% of our students were struggling with a certain standard or topic, and that became a focus for the teachers. Then the teachers also in the classroom looked at their students that were struggling 20% or more, and they created plans to, in small group, to intervene and help build those skills that the students needed. And then our Tier 3 students work with our interventionists and basic skills teachers to layer on that. So a student could in fact be getting Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for the teachers to create the plans. It's a lot of work looking at the data. The supervisors dig deep into that data. They work in PLCs, professional learning communities, with the teachers to identify strategies, resources, needs. And so that is our primary intervention because it's going on every day, all day. And then these are some of the programs that we fill those interventions with. And I won't read all of them to you, but we've used IXL a lot. That is individualized, it is self-leveling, goes up, goes down, we get reports, we can look at them, we can hone in on what those students need to be successful. And I had a meeting yesterday with the supervisors. We had taken our students that were really close. If you were here last year, we talked a lot about our students that were our bubble kids, that were right there. They were so close to being proficient on the test. And we took those students and we really focused on where their deficiencies were. And when I spoke with the supervisors yesterday, about half of those students made that transition into meeting expectations. So we're going to continue with that, and we're going to continue to look at professional development, curriculum, student needs, and try to just continue to build on this. It feels like it's the first time in a while that we've had some positive news to give and some good growth.
Well, and if you go back a slide
Oh, sorry.
to your tiered system, that was a conscious choice we made 3 years ago, right?
It was.
That we need to make a change. We made that change, and I think we're seeing the results of that.
And I think standards-based.
That's an institutional change here. We did that.
It is.
K as well.
It is. And I think our standards-based report cards at the elementaries too help to focus us on it, which was a really heavy lift too for everyone, but to focus us on the standards and making sure that we were assessing what was the state gave us as standards. Okay. Are you? Yes, you're up.
All right, so when we talk about the NJSLA for our secondary grades, it's required for students to take the end of course assessment in grades 6, 7, 8, and 9. So it ends at grade 9. So what we're looking at here is the NJSLA ELA, English Language Arts scores for grades 6 through 9. As you can see, grades 7 and 8 did surpass the state, which is really incredible. And we also saw good growth in grade 6. So this is the year-to-year change, so comparing the grades from the 2024 scores in that particular grade. You can see that in grades 6, 7, and 8, we saw really great growth, and it surpassed the state's growth. So in grade 6, we were at a 6.8% more students met or exceeded expectations than the previous year, 7.2 in grade 7, 14 in grade 8. And in grade 9, we saw a decline, but it's on the same pace as the state. The next thing that we'll look at is the cohort performance. So this is comparing the same group of students, so it's really a worthwhile piece of data to look at because you're taking a look at the same students, same group of students, how they performed on the previous year assessment. So for our 6th graders, we're looking at their 2024 grade 5 assessment, and we saw an 8.5% increase within that group of students. In grade 7, phenomenal, we saw a 16.5% increase in that group of students. And then from grade 7 to 8, we saw a 6% increase. As you recall, in grade 9, the year-to-year score did go down. However, we still saw almost a whole percentage point increase within that cohort. And the same cannot be said for the state cohort. So this is comparing our cohort with the state cohort. And you'll see our cohort growth was significantly larger, again, compared to the state of New Jersey. Taking a look at that grade 9, because that's where we saw the decrease in the year-to-year score, our cohort saw a 0.08% increase. The state of New Jersey saw a -3 decrease. So it's looking really positive. Here's our subscores that we're required to report out. Again, just to echo what Ms. Samus said, our economically disadvantaged students did increase by about 10%. So we saw some really good gains there. We'll move on to math for grades 6, 7, and 8. Our state scores are in the first column and our district are in the second. You'll see our grade 6 is closing the gap pretty quickly between us and the state. Grade 7 has a little bit further to go. And then you'll see there's a little bit of a bigger gap between grade 8 for our district and the state. Something to note for grade 8 is that a very large portion of our students are taken out of that population to take either Algebra 1 or geometry. Over a third of our students actually are taken out of that population. So you're left with a smaller group of students that are taking that grade 8 assessment, and that kind of affects our scores. Here you'll see the year-to-year change comparing the 2024 scores with the 2025 scores. So you'll see Lacey Township School District had greater growth in grade 6 and 7 than the state. Grade 8, we saw a little bit of a decrease, and the state saw a little bit of an increase. This is our cohort performance for grade 6 and 7. We can't really do a cohort performance for grade 8 because, again, so many students are pulled out of the population. But you'll see our cohort change was +1 for grade 5 into grade 6, and our cohort change was positive 0.2 for grade 6 into grade 7. Every little bit counts for our students. Also, when you compare that to the state, our growth, even though it's small, looks more significant when you're comparing it to the state, saw negative growth from grade 5 to grade 6 and grade 6 to grade 7. So our teachers are doing a really great job, not only getting kids to achieve, but pulling more students up to meeting the expectations than the previous year. Here's our sub-scores. Students also take the NJSLA in Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, our secondary math courses. We're really proud of all 3 of these as they're significantly above the state average. Algebra 1 last year was about 1.5% above the state average, and this year we're about 5 percentage points above the state.
Is that 8th grade? Are they taking Algebra 1 now in 8th grade or 9th?
So it's a combination. We have
Okay.
students taking Algebra 1 actually in 7th grade, a small group of students, about 25. And then we have about 80 students in 8th grade taking Algebra 1, and then the remainder of the population takes it in 9th grade.
Okay, so this is all combined?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this is for the whole district. Geometry is similar. There's 8th graders taking geometry and 9th graders taking geometry that are reported here, and our Algebra 2 scores, these are all 9th grade scores. Here's our year-to-year change for Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. The state actually went down in Algebra 1, where we saw a 2.3% increase in students that met expectations. Geometry, we saw a 20.9% increase, and Algebra 2, we saw a 17.6% increase.
And we far exceed the state average in all 3 of those areas.
Correct, yes.
We have a very, very strong advanced math program.
Mhm.
And then, of course, when they get to the middle school,
Right.
the regular math, except for that 8th grade cohort.
Mhm.
But again, we pull all those Algebra 1 kids out,
Mhm.
and they start doing regular math, high school math right there.
Correct. And seeing these higher scores in the secondary math is really positive. Algebra 1 is a foundational math course for students' future success in mathematics. So it's really great to see that our students are doing so well in Algebra 1. Also, the NJGPA, which is the graduation assessment, pulls from Algebra 1 and Geometry. So to see our students doing well in these 2 areas is positive for that assessment that comes up in their 11th grade year. There's our sub-scores for Algebra 1. So for our grade 6 through 9 interventions, we're building upon the interventions that we've implemented over the last few years. We've seen such positive growth, so we know the things that we have been doing are working. So we're just working on refining the things that we have in place. Our small group instruction, making sure that there's student conferencing incorporated in every instructional block. We have a WIN period, which stands for What I Need, in grades 6 through 8 weekly, that has targeted instruction, not just from their classroom teachers, but also from interventionists that provide that tiered instruction that Mrs. Amos mentioned. We use IXL, we use their snapshot diagnostic to really pinpoint where students are on grade level and where we need to work on them to make sure that they are on grade level. We have implemented common unit assessments, making sure that they're really standards aligned and also aligned with the NJSLA, so that our students aren't surprised when they sit down and they take these high stakes tests at the end of their course. And we'll continue that this year to make sure that we're integrating the new NJSLA adaptive practice test items into instruction. We have instructional data coaches, and last year we had an NJSLA boot camp for all 9th grade students prior to taking the NJSLA, and it was successful. We plan to do that again. This is NJSLA Science. So students take the NJSLA Science at the end of grade 5, 8, and 11, and it's a comprehensive test. So in grade 5, the students are being tested on all of the elementary science standards. In grade 8, they're being tested on all of the middle grades 6, 7, 8 standards, and in grade 11, they're being tested on all of the high school science standards. So it's not just assessing what they learned that year, but what they've learned over a course of several years. We've made really great gains in science. We're closing the gap between us and the state. In all areas, we're 5 percentage points or less below the state. And if you look at our year-to-year change, grade 5 did really well, almost double digits with their growth compared to the state of 2.5. And in grade 8 and grade 11, we are growing at a faster rate than the state. And here are our subscores for science. So some interventions that we are implementing for science are just to make sure that we're reviewing the science items that have been released by the state, making sure that our students are being exposed to the types of questions that will be on the test. Administering the NWA in science will really help the students prepare for that assessment. And increasing the vertical articulation between the teachers, making sure that all of our standards are covered in depth. Administering common unit assessments like we're doing in our other subject areas, and just tracking student progress and delivering the tiered system of supports. Next, we'll move on to the NJ GPA. This is the 11th grade assessment that all students have to take to meet graduation. So in ELA, we're really happy to have over 3/4 of our students considered to be graduation ready. We did see a slight decrease from the previous year, but so did the state. We're right there with them. Here's our subscores. For the NJ GPA for math in grade 11, we have over half of our students that are graduation ready, which is really significant. Last year, we only had 47.5% of our students graduation ready, so we saw a really great increase, and we're less than 2 percentage points away from the state with that. Here's our year-to-year change. We saw an 8.8% growth, which is huge, where the state of New Jersey only saw a 3.3% growth. Here's our subscores. Okay, moving on. The SAT, there's our mean score for the class of 2025, which exceeds the state, far exceeds the state mean. The state mean is typically above the national mean, which hasn't been released yet from College Board, but in 2024, the national mean was a 1024. Last year, LTHS had an average of 1070, or 1071, so we saw quite an increase from last year in the SATs.
SAT is an interesting, because we studied this over the years, like not everybody takes the SAT. Your kids who are college bound for your colleges all over the state of New Jersey are taking the SAT. So your competition is tighter when you get to the SAT. It's not just general competition of a whole population. So doing well here is a real highlight. And outperforming the state is an extra big highlight. Highlighted again by the fact we had really a record number of kids taking the SAT. They can take it multiple times, but we had a record number of kids taking it, which proves a couple things in my head, that we've got kids graduation ready, we've got kids going to four-year schools, and they're ready for that. The SAT is a metric, whether you believe it or not. Colleges are going right back to it. It's not going to be test optional in about 2 years again. So, I really enjoyed these scores. They were very good.
Okay, moving on to our AP scores, our advanced placement scores. Mr. Zielinski spoke about this in his introduction. We're extremely proud of a 69% passing rate. That means that 69% of our students that took AP tests had a 3 or higher on their AP exam. You can see from 2021 to 2024, we were kind of around 55%. So that jump up to 69 is really very, very incredible.
If you just go back, when I was teaching, if you hit 60% passing, you got a party. Our district is 69% passing on the AP scores, and that's how many classes we have. 17, 18 classes that we teach. So I want you to highlight it. Sorry. That was just such a big deal.
These are just the numbers. So we had 314 total exams, and of those 314, 126 of them were 3 or higher. So well over half of them got 3 or higher, which can earn students, college credits. And it's yep, so significant. We wanted to celebrate some of the really high-performing AP classes. So in alphabetical order, we have a few listed that were really, all of our classes did very well, but these ones truly they did very well. So 2D art and design, 3D art and design, Calculus BC with the AB subscore.
Would you call BC the most grueling of them all?
Yeah, it's extremely,
Yeah.
it's,
So that passing rate,
it's
go
like the
back to, like,
pinnacle,
architecture,
yeah.
number one score.
Yeah.
Who's took BC? Did you pass?
Oh, I didn't take it. Well, I'm in it right now.
Oh, you're in it now?
Yeah. So is
Grueling,
Ava
right?
and Mike actually.
And,
Yeah.
and
That is the most
our
grueling
Calculus
class.
our Calculus BC students are the ones that are taking Algebra 1 as 7th graders. So they're taking a high school, typically a 9th grade course as 7th graders to get themselves to that Calculus BC.
To pass it at 78% is just.
Chemistry, we had 100% of our students get a 3 or higher, which is a very difficult AP Science course.
It's probably the second hardest, I'd say, chemistry.
Very difficult. Computer science principles, 100%. English language and composition, 85. English literature and composition, 85. Environmental science, 91. Psychology, this is more of an entry-level AP course. So for 55% of our students to have a 3 or higher in that class is worth celebrating, because a lot of those students maybe never took an AP class or maybe never even considered taking an AP class. They didn't think that it was for them. So for over half of them to have that 3 or higher is really significant. AP Statistics, 80%. United States Government and Politics, 78%. United States History, 77%. And World History, those are all freshmen that take that AP class. So to have almost half
Some
of
of the
them,
audience is like, that's a low number, they're all freshmen.
they're all freshmen,
Amazing.
which most schools don't have freshmen take AP
They don't want
courses.
it, but we want them to take it.
And we not only have them take it and have that experience of sitting through an AP class, because with getting a 3 or not, you still get a valuable experience, being exposed to the rigor of an AP course, but to have almost half of them also then get a 3 or better is really, really significant, so.
The worst part about those freshmen is they don't count towards any of our ranking, because the ranking group won't let us count freshmen, sophomores taking APs. Yet they're scoring, 3s and higher. So, but they're going on to better things, we know that, so. Anybody take world AP? You did? Right? Good class, right?
It is good.
Hard.
It's very compact.
Hard when you're freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have our four-year graduation rate yet. You'll see 2025 is missing, so when we do have access to that, we'll update our slides.
State switched to a new program, and it doesn't work. So they haven't released it yet. Stay in your.
We do have our post-graduation plans. You'll see there's a little bit of a dip in the percentage of students going to a 4-year or 2-year college. But there's an uptick in the percentage of students going into trade and technical fields. Okay, and lastly, we'll celebrate our College Academy. Mr. Zielinski opened with our 23 LTHS students. Just recently earned, or in the spring, earned their associate's degree at Ocean County College in 2025, which is really, it's incredible. It sets them up for a lot of great things right as they graduate high school.
We're responsible for 184 college graduates. That's just awesome as a public high school institution.
Yeah,
It's very
so
cool.
in those 23, they added up to 184 total College Academy graduates in May of 2025. That's a lot of students.
At a really reduced cost to them.
Yep. And just another statistic, 11 students excelled in AP classes and purchased 33 credits through the Fairleigh Dickinson University Early College Program on top of that associate's
Just so my
degree.
financial people in the room too, we get paid from Ocean County College to teach those classes. We get a reimbursement. Okay, so we actually get revenue by about, I think it's about $40,000 a year we get. Okay, to come into our general fund because we teach those classes to those kids.
And it also increases the variety of courses that we can offer to our students. You know, there's a course on the Pine Barrens that we wouldn't typically offer, but it's with the OCC program, so we're able to.
So DLMs, we are required to report out on the DLMs. The DLMs are an exam that we give to our most cognitively impaired students. So we report those results out. What's interesting is I've tried to learn a little bit more about it. Once a student is at target or advanced, we generally put them in the regular testing regimen, so the NJSLA testing. So you don't see a lot in there, but what my group is, my special ed group, is very happy that we have that many approaching students in ELA and growing a little bit in the other areas. So we're trying to move them from emerging to approaching. But these are students who can't take regular state testing. Okay, so these are the results. We'll post these up. If anybody ever has any questions on DLM, I'm going to point you in the right direction because it is a very specific population of students. It's generally 1% or less of your entire student body population will take the DLM. It's a very challenging test. It's very personalized. You actually sit with the teacher and take these exams because of their disabilities in most cases. So that's the DLM results for the district.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
And that concludes our report for today.
Okay, thank you.
I
That
can
was
just recognize
wonderful.
Eric and Jess, our principal in the room. I always like to recognize our principals. Jessica Angelini is one of our supervisors. They're responsible for a lot of this work, so I'd just like to recognize them as well. They're awesome, and if you haven't been to Fork River School, you know that. So thank you again. Mr. King as well, but you'll see him every month. All right.
Do you want to dismiss? Anybody?
Yeah, if anybody needs to go, student-wise, homework, it's up to you. Always. Parents as well.
I've seen my phone.
This is your chance. I know the rest of the meeting's exciting. You're gonna miss public comment, you're gonna miss board comments, you're gonna miss committee reports. Totally up to you.
Good night. Have a good night.
Congratulations,
Good night.
guys.
See you later.
Good night, guys. Thank you again.
Congrats.
Thank you, congratulations. Where are you gonna go to pharmacy school? I went through school, all the Rutgers people. I went to all the Rutgers people. Oh, Rhode Island? That's where my sister went. Loved it. Yeah.
That was a good report. Good
Night.
night, thank
Night,
you.
folks.
So you got board?
Okay, we're going to move on to public comment. Any audience member wishing to make a comment will raise his or her hand, and when called upon, state their name, address, or affiliation, and intention to make a statement. Comments will be addressed to the board president. Comments will be made one issue at a time. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes. No audience member shall be recognized twice until all who have wished to comment have been recognized. This portion of the meeting is for public comments only, and there will be no questions answered. The purpose of this board meeting is for us to perform our business in public. Everyone is entitled to a public comment. If there's a question for the board, there's an established chain of command to follow. Would anybody like to make a comment today? Go ahead, Mr. Mazzoli.
Okay, Tony Rizzoli. First, page 3 of the agenda, number 7. You're selling a piece of property. I'd like to know where the money's going, and can it go to debt service? And as far as the property itself, according to the township, the property's been appraised at $549,000 on a tax map, and it's under resident zone R100 resident zone. So it's mostly for residential use only, but whoever you sell it to can go and get whatever variance they want and use the property any way they want. It's just that with that much money coming in, I'd like to see it going towards debt service, because when I went to the meeting last night and the engineer architect and was talking about it, and our business administrator was talking about debt service, you know, we have a lot of debt service currently. If the referendum does go through, which, you know, it'll be up to the voters, we'll have a significantly more amount of debt service. And if the project comes in under budget, the debt service that's there is going to end up not only it's supposed to go back to the taxpayer, but if there's existing debt service, it's going to be transferred into the existing debt service account. So if we're going to make money, you know, selling this piece of property, I'd like to see it go towards the debt service, and that's the only thing I wanted to talk about as far as that on the agenda on that page. I have a question on page 6 under agenda item 13. We're going to pay $72,671.55 to the FedCap school in West Orange. I'd like to know, is that only for one student, or is there a bunch of students that are getting on a transportation bus and going?
Generally, Mr. Rizzoli, generally when you see students like that in the board agenda, they are placed by the state.
Okay,
We don't
so
have a
it's
choice.
one student?
I don't know specifically.
Okay.
But we
I
have,
was
we have-
just-
they exist in every district, and we have no choice in the matter, and they do
No,
all
I
that
understand.
work
It's
for us.
just
They
that, you
send us
know,
the bill.
if
Yeah,
it's-
yeah. So
that's a
when
lot
you
of
see them
money.
far, yeah. When you
That's a
see them
lot of
far,
money for one
That's our
st-
biggest complaint with the state, that they don't have a fund for districts to handle that, because many districts have large numbers. We don't have large numbers, thank goodness, yet, but there's districts out there, their budgets are devastated by out-of-district kids. We've complained to the state, I've testified in front of the state, that they need to get that in hand, because they can just tell us, oh, by the way, Lacey, here's your kid, and we have no choice.
Okay, that's fine. Can you increase my time a little bit? Because I didn't ask
Sure.
for a response, but,
Sure.
you know, I'm glad you did respond, though. I'm happy about that. But boy, that seemed like a heck of a
Well,
lot
when
of
there's
money
factual
just
stuff,
to
I'll
put
always
one
respond,
kid
Mr.
in
Rizzo.
a
When there's
van and
facts.
take him to West
Right.
Orange,
That's what happens.
you know?
Yeah.
Come on. Okay, this one I don't think you're going to like, but it's on page 12. We're going to spend $151,000 for stipends. Now, the stipends that we're talking about here are for other than fair and efficient education. It's over and above. You guys made that choice. Fine, you made that choice. The state said, don't spend this money, okay? You decided to spend this money, okay, over and above a fair and efficient education. That's your ability to do, sitting on the board, and it's your decision. But, okay, in doing that, in spending that money, I would rather see that money go towards the academics that were just presented. If we took that $151,000 and used it towards the academics to increase our academic performance, I would feel much better about that. Under number 8, you're going to spend $5,800 for somebody to hand out towels in a locker room. I would rather see them teaching math, teaching English, teaching some of these other things to move those scores up. That's my personal opinion. All I'm saying is think about it. If you're taking your advice from, you know, legal advice, hey, look, they make money by getting us in court, okay? And that's the advice you're going to get from a barrister. Let's go to court. Let's fight about it. Let's lose it. Let's appeal it. Let my firm make more money. And that's all I got to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, Ashley Meyer-Weehawken. This is just about some issues I'm having ongoing with the special education department. In July, I came and spoke regarding my special needs son not receiving services and therapies mandated in his IEP and issues within the special education department. I told you that Superintendent Zielinski had ignored about 15 emails in the course of approximately 2 months. I begged for your help. Things have only gotten worse. I had to file emergency due process, represent myself in a hearing, and in August, I was awarded an emergency court order by a judge requiring Lacey to comply within days. That month after the court order, no one from the board or the superintendent contacted me, apologized, checked in, invited me to speak in closed session about my experience, or followed up with me in any way. The emails I sent to the board after the court order were just ignored. Your executive session minutes for the August meeting even showed that you discussed 0 student or personnel matters. No parent should have to go to court over something they are rightfully owed by their school. In fact, Lacey actively tried to get my case dismissed instead of working in good faith to simply resolve it and apologize and help my son. To date, my child is still facing issues and hostility with Lacey School's special education department. As one example, when I declined some wording in a proposed IEP amendment last month, I received a letter home stating it would be implemented anyway and Lacey didn't need my consent. Legally, an IEP amendment without a meeting must have parental consent, and I confirmed this with the Executive County Superintendent's Office. I emailed you about this, but you didn't respond to that either. You also didn't respond when I alerted you of complaints I filed with the State Department of Special Education that resulted in findings of Lacey's noncompliance to law. I want to stress my issue is not with the wonderful teachers, but administration. I wish I could say lessons were learned here or that I was confident things would change and improve in Lacey, but they have not, and my child is still suffering with the consequences. It is increasingly difficult to work with the special ed department in Lacey, and the environment has become incredibly hostile and stressful. I've had to send many, many emails just to access my son's IEP. I was told Lacey's IEP system has issues and confused, and that has affected my son and his services, and other issues I've emailed you about, like things being put in his IEP without my approval. It is truly disappointing to see continued problems as I have tried relentlessly to bring them to your attention. I truly hope other disabled children aren't affected by similar situations. It's not okay or normal that a parent would have to go so far to get an emergency court order just to get help. You have the power and responsibility to protect Lacey's children. Please make special education a priority.
Thank you. On behalf of the board, I would like to acknowledge your concerns. Please understand that the board is not able to comment on these matters that involve litigation or individual students, as they are confidential and protected by the law. As a board, we remain committed to listening with respect and responding with professionalism, even when perspectives differ. Thank you again for sharing your thoughts this evening. Would anybody else like to have a comment? Go ahead, Regina.
Regina DeSenza, Sunset Drive, Sunrise Beach. My first comment concerns what Kim said earlier in the meeting. I have no graphic arts software, and I can assure you I'm not talented enough or responsible for the social media posts I think you mentioned. The black and yellow signs are mine, and my name and address and phone numbers on every single one. I had the sign company design them for me. I don't do anything anonymous, just so that you know. So last night I attended the information session on the referendum at Forked River School. Only 15 people, including myself, were present. Someone I know went to the meeting at Mill Pond 2 weeks ago and said only 15 people were at that one too. Pretty strange that a massed text and postcard mailing to the entire town only got 15 people out last night. I hope some more people show up at the high school on October 30th. Anyway, I went to listen to the changes and few differences from March till now. I don't want rain on any students or staff, and please know that I had asked in 2015 why the roofs weren't being fixed. Now I know it was pretty much on purpose. I remember walking around trash cans collecting water in the high school in 2015, 10 years ago. I hope by now all the parents are aware and know that air conditioning is not being added anywhere in any school building. All the HVAC systems are replacements, not additions. That's correct, right? Mm-hmm. They're replacements.
Correct.
Now the roofs were puzzling me for several reasons. In 2009, Mr. Savage claimed that all the roofs were 20-year roofs during the solar referendum. So 2029 would be the end of 20 years for roofs, and several have been leaking for the past 10 years with no one invoking any of the supposed warranties we keep hearing about. Turns out this past February at an information session for the previous referendum, Mr. Ted Hopkins, the architect, told me they were only 15-year roofs. So that would explain a lot of the leaking. One night, a while back, Mr. Peters had given a roof leak rundown for all 6 schools. He did note that the Lenoka Harbor School had only 1 leak. So I suspected this was why their roof was removed from this current referendum question. And then I had the old flyer from 2009 that stated Lenoka Harbor School was getting a new roof with the solar project. Thus, this must be the only 20-year roof still under warranty in the district. However, last night, Mr. Settembrino claimed all the roofs were 20-year roofs. So who really knows which roof is which? I think I do. The other 5 in 2009 were brought to almost new condition to place the solar arrays, but they were not replaced from scratch. And if they were originally 15-year roofs, then yes, the other 5 are all expired and past their useful lifespan. Thus, the reason the high school roof was leaking since 2015. I thought it was very strange that it began to leak only 5 years after the solar project completion. So now, how do I believe what anyone says? In March, we were told all the schools needed roofs. Now in October, the Lenoka Harbor School does not need a roof. Was the one leak repaired? That is a question I would like answered, a simple yes or no. Does anyone know if the one leak at Lenoka Harbor School was repaired?
Yes,
One, okay.
yes,
Because then that one is under the 20-year warranty.
yes.
So
I
great.
think we fixed it, though. We didn't call Trimco.
Well, whatever, it's done, okay?
Yes.
So now we only have 5 leaking roofs. And all the pricing on these projects is very high. I contacted a private, commercial roofing company myself, and they assured me all the pricing was exaggerated. I gave them the insulation specs and the building addresses. And I don't know if I heard this correctly last night, but who said all the district debt is paid off in March of 2026?
No, no one said that.
No. Okay, because I went to the CAFR, and it shows the last long-term debt payment as January 15, 2030. And there is a payoff April 1st, 2026. That's the one you were referring to last night? Okay. 4/1/26 will be the last payment on the school expansion bond, I believe that one was, which even includes this room. This very room we're in is still not paid for yet, and half the equipment in here doesn't work. It's a shame. So I've been examining all the board emails that I've opened for this past year, and I see 0 board communication on email, except for a few things from Ms. Claus over the year, mostly reminders about meetings and a few items from the business administrator. This tells me the board is conducting business outside the public purview by using their personal cell phones for text messages. Just a little note, this is not legal under the Open Public Meetings Act, and when I was on the board, I had gotten text messages so long.
Regina, can you come
I'll
back,
stop.
please?
Yeah,
Thank
they
you.
didn't fit on my little flip phone.
Okay, thank you. Would anybody else like to have a comment before Regina goes back? Go ahead.
I guess stand up, right? I'll get over the pen. For this out. Make sure you make this out.
Good evening. Linda Miller, Forkett River. I'm a true lover of children, and a mandatory contributor to the Lacey Schools for 51 years. And I might want to add, yes, I do have a senior freeze, but I'm speaking for the whole community. There's a lot of people that live here that are not old enough for a senior freeze yet, and with the taxes going up, it's not easy for a lot of people. I will be voting no on the referendum. The last statement of the 2025 referendum reads, "The Board of Education is authorized to transfer funds among the projects approved at the election." Misleading the public and giving you, the Board of Ed, the opportunity to use the $28 million toward any of the 18 submissions approved by the state.
Just, I have to stop you for a
That's
minute. That's
incorrect.
completely incorrect.
No.
That is not how it works. Absolutely not. You are forbidden from doing that. That is not true.
Okay, who forbid it?
The state of
The
New
state.
Jersey forbids what you're describing to happen. That is illegal.
Okay. Okay, all right. In other words, I don't think you're telling the voters all the truth, the whole truth. This can be very tricky business. Remember, the state can rescind the 40% debt service aid at any time. All of this is not solving the educational decline of the school and the fiscal decline of our whole community. And I always have a question where our monies went with the raising of the 20% taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. I invite you to come to the next information center that we're having on October 30th for the referendum. You can ask all your questions there. We went over a lot of that last night, but please come, okay?
Okay,
You can still vote no, but this way at least you know why you're voting no.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Richard, you're up.
Okay, Richard A. Bidnick, Forked River, Lacey Citizens for Responsible Government. Good evening, members of the board, citizens of Lacey Township. I would like to start my comments tonight first by apologizing to Ashley Meyer. Since the board won't apologize to you, I will on behalf of the citizens of Lacey and the board, because they won't do it, for what you've been through. I'm sorry that you've been put in such a position, and I hope that things will improve. I really do. I would like to start my comments tonight concerning the threatening letter I received from the board attorney, Mr. Manning, concerning the lifting of the school's logo to promote the school board candidates forum that the Lacey Citizens for Responsible Government is holding at the library on October 22nd at 7 p.m. This was an utter waste of taxpayers' dollars. I hope, though, you sent a threatening letter to the candidates who also lifted part of your logo in their campaign paraphernalia. If not, it readily appears that you are targeting not only a tax-paying citizen, but a citizens group. A simple email from the board president would have addressed this issue, but instead you wasted public dollars on this nonsense. Shame on you. Many of us have received text messages concerning the referendum using language which is promotional in nature. This breaks the Content Neutrality Supreme Court ruling, which was a landmark decision. Application for referendum on the City of Trenton Ordinance 201, New Jersey 349, 2010. The ruling concerned the fairness doctrine. Using public funds to advocate for a specific outcome creates an unfair advantage and can undermine the integrity of electoral process. Government can inform, but it cannot advocate. Any form of bias is illegal, and any informational paraphernalia must be content neutral and explain both sides. Neither the video you have online or the text messages or the mailings are balanced in any way. Many of us are against this referendum and reject the use of public monies to support something we are against. Please cease and desist with the promoting. Some of us realize repairs need to be made, but not this way. The lack of transparency and absolutely no vendor estimates to back up any of the repairs raises many red flags, especially since the architect will get a cut of the total project. In this case, to the tune of $1.857 million. Without these, I can't imagine how anyone in their right mind would vote yes for this referendum. Citizens of Lacey, use some common sense and vote no. Please leave all the emotion at the door. When emotions take over, all logic goes out the door, and some of the worst decisions we ever make in our life are made when emotion takes over. I have asked the board several times for the salaries and benefit costs of each and every employee to be posted on the school's website where it once was. I've sent emails and have publicly requested this information on several occasions. So where is it? Why isn't it online? Why has it not been made available? Again, the lack of transparency raises other questions about what is really going on and why the board does not want the public to see this. The husband of one of the so-called esteemed teachers, Ms. O'Hearn, wrote some very disparaging and defamatory comments about me online. To be clear, I've never met this man nor ever communicated with him in my life in any way, yet he seems to broadcast what he knows is in my brain. In posts, he actually wrote, "Bidnick is the biggest piece of shit in this town. In 50 years, there's never been anyone who has hated our children or town more than him. Although I'm not too sure about you, Phil, he was talking to this other person that he was making these comments at. He said, maybe you'll fix everything. Okay, so I have a word of the wise to Miss O'Hearn. You might want to use some of your teaching skills on your husband.
Whoa.
Yeah,
No, you're gonna stop there.
Yeah, that's not right.
You're gonna stop there, okay? You go forward on your comments. You will not talk about staff members like that who are not responsible for the commentary that you're reading. You will stop there and apologize for that.
I will not.
That is not her fault. You will stop there.
I am giving her a
You will
message.
finish your
You can't. You're
comments
addressing it to
without.
You do not
mentioning
have
her
the
name.
right to
Yes,
tell
you
me
do.
what to
You
say.
will not mention her
You
name
do
one
not
more
have
time.
the right.
You will not.
You do
Bruce,
not
you wanna
have
step
the
in?
right.
You will not.
All right, your 5 minutes are done. You can sit down. Regina? Yeah, up here, Barry.
You're done.
Yeah.
Good evening, Barry Bender, Bay Avenue and Forked River. Just a little historical context for the young lady who was talking about her son. I had two children who graduated from Lacey High School, twins, both of whom were considered, they had the IEPs. My daughter is much higher functioning, my son not as high functioning as my daughter. But in 4 years, well, more than 4 years, all through school, it was a battle to get services for my son. It was at every turn it was a battle. And I don't think it's anything new as far as I'm concerned that the school district neglects the special needs children. And that's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, Regina, you're up.
Regina DeSenza. The remainder of my comment is that a lot of people often ask me, what are some suggestions for helping the board's budget? Three major ones, constantly overlooked for the past 10 to 15 years, but simple. It's more than time to subcontract out the transportation department and get a company that will agree to use the local drivers. When it was first proposed years ago, Jack Martinek was the board president. That was eons ago. Think of the savings from not paying bus insurance alone. Bus maintenance is expensive. I see the bills. I review them usually every month after the meeting. Subcontract out the food services department and find a company that will also agree to use our local employees. Many do. I inquired when I went to the NJSBA workshops in Atlantic City. Item 3, pay-to-play sports. Vanessa was always afraid to do this because of parental pushback, but it's time. This board must find ways to free up money in the budget and do regular maintenance. If other districts can do it, so can Lacey. If every district in the state neglected maintenance, there wouldn't be a school building left standing. It's called management. And if these suggestions were implemented years ago, you might even be able to squeeze a few dollars back for courtesy busing. But I'm sorry, parents, I do think that is gone for good. Now, tonight, once again on the agenda, I see changes to policy 0167. And I think it's still in violation of constitutional provisions. Has it been discussed with the police chief? Does he know he might be asked to enforce it? I think it's absurd because defamatory and derogatory comments are determined in a court of law, not at a school board meeting, and I will be consulting with the ACLU. Thank you.
Okay, Richard, you can go out, but do me a favor. We're not here to talk about employees. We're not here to talk about the public.
No, I was just mentioning.
But you shouldn't have. So let's just move on. Let's move on.
Okay,
Let's move on.
You're violating my First Amendment rights, and don't worry, we'll take care of this, okay?
You go right ahead.
Seriously, I'm sick and tired of you people trying to shut us down because you don't want to hear
We
the
do
facts.
want to hear.
No, you
Mr. Bidnick, you were using vulgarity. You were
Yes.
talking about.
How was I using
Can I
vulgar-
finish? You were talking about a staff member who's not even here about something.
I'm not. I was
about
just-
something she did not even do.
I wasn't talking about her. I was just giving her some advice.
You were being sarcastic and snarky.
All right, I'm sick and tired of you people telling me, okay?
You get up there and complain about defamation, and then you complain about this policy here. You're free to
I'm
make any
not-
public comment
what?
you want, but let's be professional. Let's act in a civilized manner.
Yeah, and who started screaming at me?
Who used vulgarity?
I just read what one of the
You
people.
could have said piece of S. We all know what that would mean.
All right, let's start.
You rather I just lie, right, and not
Richard,
say
we're
the truth?
starting. Your time is ticking.
Okay.
You make a public comment. and
Okay,
finish.
please. I find it ironic to hear our illustrious board president talk about bullying and harassment geared toward Mr. Zielinski from posts on social media. Too bad, Ms. Claus, that you did not say this when a former school board member, Skip Peters, wrote disparaging comments against citizens who were just trying to get all the information out during our March referendum on Facebook, which led to ethics violations being charged against him. Please practice what you preach.
I do.
Well, you didn't back then. You
I
didn't
wasn't the board president back then.
in
I'm here
March?
representing.
In March?
He did, that'll
Yes,
that
you
case
were.
over.
You were board president, so please. Okay. So the other thing too is I want to mention. Please take my advice and Regina's advice. The food service department and our school busing, they should all be privatized, and this should have been done actually 7 years ago. Your lack of action on these issues has not only caused the district to have to pay out on 2 lawsuits for 2 previous food service directors who sued the district. It would have also saved us valuable dollars in the long run. And since our finances seem to be our biggest problem, please do your job. And don't raise our taxes to astronomical levels ever again. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to close public comment. We're now moving on to board committee reports. And we'll start with Mr. Conity in finance, please.
Yeah, so we had our meeting on Thursday the 9th with myself, Mrs. Claus, Mr. Armato, Mr. Zielinski, and Ms. Ormsby. Talked about the middle school RTU project. It's going to be, they were originally going to be doing it over winter break, but now it's pushed up to fall break.
Correct.
So pushing up on that. NorCal for the paint at the high school. We're going back and forth at them again as far as the warranty. Ms. Ormsby discussed the referendum and that they were having a meeting a day or 2 after. Discussed the potential for the land sale and about putting the resolution on there. It's okay. Sorry.
Just get close to you in between.
Yeah. Have we discussed policy binder again? Ms. Ormsby talked about the SREX and how there's a big decrease in the value on that. Ms. Ormsby talked about the strategic plan since a current one expires in 2026. Briefly discussed the 26-27 school budget, and then the 26-27 comprehensive maintenance plan and Form M1. That'll be on tonight's agenda. Talked about the PEA funding, and then we discussed the catering pricing and how we revised some of the prices. Part of a LTA discussion and mediation about that. The Blum USA display boards, talked about replacing about a dozen of those, and then use of facilities, and then Ms. Ormsby had a discussion on a grievance settlement, and then a potential Eagle Scout project here at the high school. And that was it. Meeting
Okay.
concluded at 4:50.
Thank you for your report. And we'll go to Ms. Armato for curriculum, please.
Okay, the curriculum meeting took place on October 8th, 2025 in the board office. Call to order was 2:30 PM. Members present were Linda Walker, myself, Mr. Armato, Mr. Zelinski, Ms. Amos, Mr. Dowd, and Ms. Krogoski. Okay, the committee was given a preview of the October achievement presentation that was presented tonight. The committee was given the schedules for the upcoming Professional Development Day that has been postponed due to the recent nor'easter. Bottle Learning. This computer application has been added to the list of approved applications for use on student Chromebooks. Special Education. Ms. Kravosky described the formation of a behavioral support committee to assist some of our neediest learners. Technology. Mr. Zelinski described the replacement of the outdated desktop IP phones in all classrooms. Mr. Zelinski described the upcoming state field testing that is the result of the state changing testing vendors and changing the format of the test to an adaptive style test. Mr. Zelinski described in detail many of the personal needs that we continue to have throughout the school year. Many of them are filled yearly in our co-curricular or coaching vacancies and other. Mr. Zelinski provided details for the upcoming referendum, including plans for the text and voice messages for the entire community. And land sale resolution. Mr. Zelinski described the land sale resolution that will be placed on the agenda for approval for the possible sale of the property behind the Mill Pond School and Mill Pond Elementary School. And the next meeting is scheduled for November 10th, 2025 at 2:30 PM. That's
Okay,
it.
Thank you. And we'll go to Ms. Walker, please, on policy.
I'm reporting on policy tonight. Mr. Bill is the chairperson. He was present at the meeting along with Mrs. Claus, myself in for Mr. Conity. The meeting took place on October 8th at 4:15. We talked about new policy regulations for review and discussion. One was policy 0155. This policy was updated to include a personnel committee in the finance section, which was previously omitted. P0163, quorum revised. This policy was revised to reflect the proper individuals required for a board quorum. Public participation in board meetings, P0167. This policy was revised after input from the September Board of Education meeting and from the Policy Committee. It is being placed on the agenda for first read tonight. Organizational chart was revised to reflect the addition of the Assistant Facilities Manager positions in the district. That is policy 1110 for organizational chart. We discussed co-curricular. The assistant hockey program is being eliminated due to budget cuts. Safety and security. Mr. Zelinski shared that Mr. England will serve as the new school safety specialist since Mr. Dowd is no longer in Lacey. He has moved on to another district.
Point Beach.
Point Beach. The LTASA, Mr. Zelinski shared the details of the hiring of an interim supervisor for Mr. Dowd, who was leaving. In addition, I think Cheryl already covered it, about the upcoming referendum on November 4th. We have a forum on October 30th at the high school. Robocalls and mailers will be going out. Our next meeting for policy will be November 12th at 4:15 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I will report on the referendum committee. The chairperson, Mr. Armato, was present, Ms. Walker, and myself, Mr. Zelinski, and Ms. Ornsby. We also had Kevin and Rita Santambrino, our architect, and our engineers present on this call. It was Wednesday, September 24th. We discussed the review of media campaign for Lacey Day. The committee reviewed the mailer, poster, and video for Lacey Day. Mr. Santambrino and Mr. McFadden will work on modifications. Discussion follows. We also had a meeting on Monday, October 6th. Mr. Armato, the chairperson, was present, Mr. Zelinski, Ms. Ornsby, and John Smith, our facilities manager. They discussed review of media campaign. The committee debriefed on Mill Pond presentation. Each committee member gave their input on the positives and negatives from the presentation and how the presentation could be improved. Mr. Santambrino will work on getting text messages out to registered voters, as well as create a flyer. Discussion followed, and the next meeting, October 20th. Okay, that's it for our committee reports. Now we'll move on to superintendent report, if you have anything.
I do. I'll talk referendum. I wrote a couple notes. The discussion and the information, we need to discuss this critical need about the upcoming bond referendum. We're talking about it all night on November 4th. While a small vocal minority has attempted to sow doubt and misinformation, I just want to be clear. Their opposition is not based on sound financial principles. It's based on a misunderstanding of public finance, that if we follow their advice, it's going to cost you, the taxpayer, a lot more money, and compromise the quality of education in our schools, which we're very proud of tonight showing. The need for new roofs and HVAC systems in our 6 buildings is not a matter of debate. Our facilities are aging, utility costs are skyrocketing, and we're facing a mountain of deferred maintenance. To ignore this problem is to guarantee a far more expensive crisis in the future. The question before us is not if we should make these repairs, but how we do so in a responsible and cost-effective way. The opponents of this referendum would have you believe there's a simpler, better way, paying for the $29 million out of the district's general fund over the next 5 years. I've seen that. I've heard that. Okay, this is where their argument falls apart and reveals a stunning lack of financial knowledge. If we finance the project over 5 years using the general fund, the annual payments would be $6.3 million. Total cost, $31.5 million. Our proposed bond, on the other hand, requires annual payments of $1.5 million over 20 years, total cost of $26 million. Okay, the other plan people are advocating for a plan that's $5.5 million more expensive in the long run. You may not feel it now, but you will feel it in the future. By using a bond referendum in New Jersey, this is Public Finance 101, our district is eligible for a massive financial contribution from the state, between 34 and 40% of the project costs. It's a huge number coming directly from the state. The opponent's plan would make us ineligible for this funding. In essence, they're telling us to turn our backs on millions of dollars of state money that is rightfully ours. You have paid that money out in your gross income taxes. Okay, we've learned that over time. I always wonder where our gross income taxes went. It goes into this fund. Okay, it's not, their strategy is not fiscally sound. It's an act of financial negligence and a choice to place a larger burden on the local taxpayer. The bond referendum saves taxpayers money, protects our operational budget from devastating cuts, and unlocks millions of dollars in state aid. Those who oppose the referendum are not acting in the best interest of the community, okay, and the facts, they're willfully misleading the public online. We've seen it. Okay, their plan is more expensive, more disruptive, and will cost us millions in free state money that we should be getting. It's rightfully ours. You know we've suffered from S2. Let's get some of that money back. There's a clear choice between fiscal responsibility and financial recklessness. I urge everyone to consider the facts for the future of our schools and the financial well-being of our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the last we'll say on it.
Okay.
It's coming up.
Yes. Ms. Walker, would you like a board comment? Anything
Sure.
to say? Yeah.
Just a couple of things. I want to first congratulate Jonathan Graveman for, I think he left, as for the Unsung Hero Award. Those of you who know I've been on the board for quite a while, and this is my favorite award because an unsung hero is the one who doesn't look for recognition. It's the one who does a lot of the work, and thank God we have these unsung heroes. And it doesn't take away from other awards, but I think this one is so special. So, Jonathan, if you're watching this, congratulations. I also would like to congratulate Ava and Michael on Students of the Month. I'm always amazed at their accomplishments, what they do. Michelle, Margaret, thank you for your presentation tonight. It was very good. It was clear. I think everyone could understand it. So thank you. And I look forward to watching from that side of the podium to see.
Like you'll come.
Yeah, increases in the future. So thank you. Just back, Kim, your comment in the beginning of the meeting I thought was very good. We got to stop this nonsense going on in board meetings. I mean, emotions, you say don't make it emotional, don't make it personal, but it is. Listen to the screaming and the comments, negativity. That's not Lacey. That shouldn't be done in a board meeting. You don't like somebody, you don't have to come up and say that in front of, if you don't like someone, tell them privately. Hey, I don't like everybody, you know that, and you don't like me. But why do we have to be so negative? And last but not least, Ashley, is that your name? Ashley, have you heard of CPAG? Have you heard that group? You might want to join that group, and because they're a great parent group that talks about the needs of special needs children, and they're great. We used to meet with them as a board, and they're great people to communicate with, and I would highly suggest that you see if you can attend those meetings. I know it's hard when you have little kids, but if you can. And I think the phone number might be on the website.
It might be.
I know they have a Facebook page.
If not, you can call the board office and get the phone number, okay? They probably do, but it's a great organization, and I think you'd
They
benefit
just kind of
from that.
reformed themselves under new leadership. so-
A new leadership,
Yes.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Armato, do you have any comments tonight?
Linda pretty much summed it up and wants to congratulate the students. And thank you for the presentation. And I also want to thank all that donated that we're going to approve tonight. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Conity?
Yeah, Jonathan, Michael, and Ava, congratulations. Just to explain a little bit on the transfer of funds in between the approved projects. It's only the projects that are approved under the referendum. So we
Correct.
can't move it to reseed the grass as a project. It's only what was approved in the referendum.
There are 18 submissions that were approved by the state.
Do you have anything more, Jack?
So, lastly, there's been a lot of comment about this board, this board, this board, and the solar project, and how they botched that, da, da, da. This is not the same board as 20 years ago. It's not the same as administration as 20 years ago. So, take that into account. Finally, the trunk or treat, October 28th, 4:30 to 6:30 here at the high school. For anybody that's interested, and
28.
have a great time at homecoming, be safe, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to new business. Are you ready? Okay. Page 2, A1, meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, can I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
I think I have to abstain. I don't think I was here in the September meeting, was I?
I think
This
you
is
were then.
October. I'm going to abstain because I
Okay.
think I was absent.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
And Mrs. Claus?
Yes. List of bills, A2, page 2. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes, but I need to abstain on my employer, 163 and 161.
Thank you. Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 2, A3 to A4, transfers. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. A5 through 12, facilities and finance. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please?
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 6 and 7, A13 to A19, transportation. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
18, did you say?
13 to 18. Can I, 19.
19.
I'm sorry, my eyes are going.
Did you get a motion?
Yes. Need a second.
Okay.
You need a second?
Yeah.
Linda, can you second?
Second.
She did.
Okay.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes, but I need to recuse on 18 on Mr. Gibson, please.
Thank you. Mrs. Claus?
Yes. A20 to 28, other. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Can I second? I can second.
Yes.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. A29, policy and regulation. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. A30, Hibbs. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Let's see, donations. I'd like to thank everyone for the generous donations. Can I have roll call, please? Motion?
Motion.
Motion, please.
Motion. Second.
Roll call,
Just make it
please.
easy, you guys just do it.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes, and thank you.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes, but I need to abstain on the Lacey Football Foundation.
Thank you.
Can I have programs and curriculum? Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Just make it easy for you guys.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Professional days and workshop and travel. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
I'll move it, second, I mean,
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. E1 through 15, certificated personnel.
All right, we have a few things here. We have to table number 1 and number 3 because we have a lack of a quorum to vote on that. We have to table E12 and E13. There's some changes there that we have to take care of. And then we have to table E14, just Margaret Malloy, because you don't have a quorum to vote on her.
14, did you say?
E14.
E14,
Leave
yes.
of absence.
The leave of absence for Margaret Malloy.
Okay. Can we have a motion, please?
I'll move with all those corrections.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Armato,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Conity,
Yes.
Mrs. Claus.
Yes. Okay, F1 to 9, non-certificated personnel. Can I have a motion, please?
I have one change in here on number 8, Mr. Gramilla. He's listed under discretionary, no pay, no benefits. He should be under discretionary, no pay with benefits.
Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please. Mrs. Armato,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Mr. Conity,
Yes.
and Mrs. Claus.
Yes. Okay, that's it? That's it. All right, I'd like to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Good.
Third.